This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child, Johnny Karlic. I like how for this one I went, Johnny Karlic. Johnny Karlic.
Well, I'm not French, don't do that.
No, you're not. You did, though. No, you haven't done the 23andMe.
No, my sister did.
Your sister did. You're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it, yeah.
Okay. That's one where I've seen, like, all over YouTube and all over the podcasts I listen to.
Yeah.
They're sponsoring a lot of podcasts. By the way, 23andMe, if you want to sponsor MVP, we're open. We're open for business.
We'll both take it. Then.
So, like, that's one thing that I've thought about it. I'm like, yeah,
if they sponsor us, we're both doing it.
Well, yeah, duh. But, I mean, should I? And then it's like...
Fucking do it. But it's cheap again. And
then I'm like, maybe the thing that and this is just Christmas season talk that's coming my way, the thing that the podcasters that I listen to say is like, oh, it's a great Christmas gift. I don't know about you, but if someone got me a 23andMe for Christmas,
I wouldn't be excited.
I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I would not be excited to get a 23andMe kit for Christmas.
Maybe I would, because...
Depends on who's getting it for me. If it's somebody that I didn't expect a gift, like a good gift in general, then okay. But if it's like one of my A-listers, because let's be honest, we all got A-list gift givers, where it's like, all right, I'm expecting the primetime gift from this person because they go to the 10s. Not even to the 9s, to the 10s.
Now
Johnny.
I'm more excited because I told you before the podcast. My sister took it, so I know what I am, but apparently what they... Like I know...
I cheated.
I know what nationality. So
I got the cheat sheet.
What she's basically, I got the cheat sheet. So what she told me is, well, their thing is, and it's kind of interesting. From sibling to sibling, you can be different percentiles of your nationalities.
Not sponsored, by the way.
I just want to throw this out there since we're talking about it right now. You can be different percentages than your sibling. So I'm curious now,
what percentages you are?
Yeah, of all the nationalities we are.
See,
I'd be more excited than you are now to get it.
I don't know if my psyche, because forever it's been, I'm Polish, I'm German, I'm Swedish. 50, 25, 25. I don't know if I'm ready for that to be shaken.
It was a little bit shocking for me, because guess what I found out I wasn't?
Swedish.
Scottish. I told you I was Swedish.
I don't remember things that are said.
Thanks.
Like,
I see how
it's like Dave
I told you like 5 minutes ago.
Dave makes the joke of like, Ricky's not actively listening. He's just nodding.
We said that on Friday, actually.
And then waiting for you
Ricky
to
is planning
talk.
his next sentence.
Part of it is planning what I have to say. There's not a lot of gears up here.
Wow, that's not good.
No, it's not at all.
It's not good. That's not a good sign.
It's like the joke that I made the other day where it was like there's a comedian that's like how men's minds work. It's like, we've got this box and we're dealing with this box. Well, most people might have computers. My guys are going through, all right, here's the filing cabinet. All right, we're still looking.
Ricky's got that old library index.
Yeah, that old library.
You pull that thing, you get looking through a little card to go find it somewhere else.
My mind's getting excited for floppy disks next week. That's the new innovation.
We're getting floppy disk? Holy shit.
And then they're going to break like that. But welcome to the Rick and Johnny podcast. This is where we talk about everything under the two nerdy suns: Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Disney, movies, entertainment, anything that you can think about. We touch it here. Movies, comic books, we touch it all for the Rick and Johnny podcast. Today, though, we're doing something completely different, Johnny. This is on a whim. You and I had 3 topics lined up, ready to go. We're going to talk about Ant-Man. We were going to talk about Batman. We were going to talk about Marvel. It was a pretty typical Rick and Johnny show. But then you and I started talking about something and riffing on it, and I was like, screw it, let's do that. This could be a fun conversation for the podcast. I'm going to get into exactly what that is in one hot second. Before that, got to go through the housekeeping for you. Number one, got to give a thank you to Soapy Muffin, our newest patron on Patreon, as well as thank you to all of our patrons on patreon.com/most valuable podcast. If you want to help support the channel, even at $1, and get yourself an audio podcast each and every month, make sure to hit that link down below in the description. You can also support us by getting an MVP t-shirt. It's kind of like my Stone Cold t-shirt. It is black and has a white MVP logo on it, and you can help support the channel by getting that.
Off my shirt.
Yeah, the graphic is no longer on your gray shirt, but the pocket is still there.
The pocket's always there.
You got that nice little pocket, but you can go get yourself a t-shirt either down below in the description or at mostvaluablepodcasts.com, where you can get your MVP each and every day. And then last but not least, make sure to go on to Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Yes, I see you put something in the pocket. Go on to Apple Podcasts, go to iTunes. Make sure to rate and review the Rick and Johnny podcast. It would really help us out. And I'm going to check like I do on all the podcasts. I think the Rick and Johnny podcast is still 0. I don't believe we have a review yet. So you could be, I see the comments all the time. People are like, first, you could be the first review that we get. And yes, we do not have a single review yet.
Just put first in some amount of stars.
Yeah, hopefully 5. Hopefully 5. I hope we're worth the 5 stars.
I prefer 5, but please, I mean, it's your choice.
Please rate and review the podcast.
At least just like
really
review and put first. Come on, you can be the first one to put first.
I'm happy with most of our ratings though, because we're about between like a 4 to a 5. Most of our podcasts that are rated are about 4.5.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, we're doing good for ourselves, I believe. Oh, you put Rick in your pocket.
I put Rick in the pocket,
yeah. So you got little Rick. You got to keep the fingers out, though, so that they can see that.
That's what I did. Well, it kind of slipped in.
Yeah, you just got to.
I'm actually going to take it out. It's a little uncomfortable. It's a little weird.
But, Johnny, what we are going to do today is, like I said, something completely different. And it kind of reminds me of the Rocky and Bullwinkle, and here's something you'll really like. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for something that the fans really like, and this is going to be kind of a more, I want to say, laid back Rick and Johnny podcast, because it's not like, we're not hitting the news in this.
It's not news oriented at all.
So what we were doing was, we had a show lined up, we had our topics lined up, and
then we started shooting the shit on something else.
We started shooting the shit on, I have mentioned it before on a podcast. So
oh, you did?
Yes, I did. It was
not ours.
Yes, it was ours.
Was ours?
Yes, it was. It was like a few weeks ago. I mentioned it at the end of one of our other segments.
I don't think you, not in depth of anything. I think you just said you wanted to write one. Yes.
I didn't go super in depth, but I have mentioned this idea, this brainchild before. And this brainchild, just to give you some brief history, started about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Something like that. I think
2 or 3 years ago. And it officially started in 2012, where the character was created, but the graphic novel portion didn't start for about 2 or 3 years ago. And Mark and I were originally going to do it. We were going to write a graphic novel. And it kind of hit the wayside with everything with MVP. And then I'll be completely honest. Mark, what he did, go check it out. He put out his newest song. Listening to that, him and his wife make that song, it kind of triggered something in my head of like,
you wanted to get back into that.
Go for it. Like, go for this. Like, MVP is everything that I love. And I basically put my heart and soul into it because I love doing this for you guys and I love doing it with my friends each and every day. But there's this one thing where this is something extra that it's like, man, I'd really like to do that one day. And I just saw that and I'm like, you know what? Do it. So I've always been, I'm not the writer type. Like, I don't know. The biggest thing that's my problem is where to start. Like, how do you start? And after seeing Into the Spider-Verse, who you can also check out our review as well, that's on the YouTube page and podcast services around the world, we got back from Into the Spider-Verse on Friday. And I've had ideas in my head. I've been circling them around. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to put pen to paper, but really
fingers to
keyboard, clickety-clacking around. And I started my outline. So just to catch them up to speed, because you and I, we did some major riffing before the podcast, and we were kind of off to the races. So the general premises of this, or the premises of this, is that, so we've got a hero. I don't know his alias right now. I will figure that out later. But his hero name is the Crusader. And just a little bit about him, just kind of bullet points, is he's a guy, he's a high school or a university, so college freshman, goes to class, has friends during the day, lives a double life as this hero, this kind of vigilante you could see him as. Because he doesn't have any superpowers. He's just a normal guy. His superhero outfit is basically just like, I don't want to say cheap armor, but like at first it's just stuff that you would make in shop class. Kind of like your cosplay stuff, I would say, would be a nice analogy to it. Where he's not
you mean like the actual
it.
armor I made this past year by accident?
Where it's not like he's not the engineering student that's like welding everything.
Shop class.
I don't even know what his major is yet. That's how like brief and bare bones it is right now. But so that's basically his armor is just like basically just armor put together, and then he's got his main weapon is kind of like a bow staff, like Donatello or Robin would have. And then he's got like kind of a mask that goes over his face, and then a cloak that goes up, much like Robin. So Robin with armor, basically. Very like cheaply made armor that's not like
something he could actually maybe make in shop class, or even like
in his garage or something.
Yeah, like you can honestly
the Mark
almost thinking of like motocross armor. Is that something you're going off of?
Kind of.
Or like paintball armor?
Yes, I would say that
conceptually.
It's plate. It's like separate plates that just kind of
like it may be like one big like chest piece up to the ribs, and maybe like separated a little bit down here so for mobility.
Yes, it's like the plates that layer on top of each other. It's
so
not like anything.
Everything like here is gonna be one piece or maybe like two, so it like creased down the middle.
Audio listeners, Johnny's talking about his chest area.
Chestal.
But just to kind of the other bare bones, he's a guy that wants to help. His needs are. He wants to live up to his grandfather's image because it's important to him. He wants to help people that are in need, just like his grandfather did. What's opposing him? His self-doubts. What would his grandfather think? Is he doing the right thing? Could he have done this differently? He's just in his own head the entire time. Did he do the right thing? Could he have done this different? What if I would have done this? What would the outcome have been? That's the main thing getting in his way. What is he afraid of? Failing, because he doesn't want to fail. He wants to be successful in helping others. And then his day-to-day, like I said, he's a university college kid, has friends, but that's kind of hard to do when you're living a dual life. And that's kind of the bare bones. At first, I will say, I started off with the main arch enemy was going to be his love interest without them knowing. But that has changed
straight
now.
From that, yeah.
That has changed now to now his sister will be the main arch enemy. But she's not going to be introduced right away into it. She's going to be kind of, how I have it is, in his origin story, she'll be sent off to, I don't want to say boarding school. I think we were talking about like
exchange
a study
program.
Abroad. So she's going to be 2 years younger.
Study abroad.
So while he's a freshman, she's going to be a junior.
In high school.
In high school. High school. Because
you said earlier he's university. So
she's a junior in high school. She's going to be sent away to like a 2-year study abroad program.
Yes.
I know, like, you might say some of those don't exist. Screw it. In my reality, they exist.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's basically where I'm at. Of like, I know she's going to do that. And me and you were kind of talking a little bit about what might happen, like, to her and how her, like, going off into her origin story of how she becomes the arch enemy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to throw out there, too, just so they have a reference. Yeah. Originally, you had the idea when it was still the girlfriend.
Yes.
The character is called the Silver Siren.
Yes. And that was because love interest, Siren, they kind of match up.
Sort of a Greek mythology-ish thing.
Exactly. Whereas now I told you, I kind of have strayed away from that.
Yes.
Where I believe when her alter ego gets developed, she will call herself Valkyrie. Not the Valkyrie, just Valkyrie. Just Valkyrie. Like, I feel like everything else is going to be the same. Like, she'll have the dual blades. She'll have the silver suit of color. I mean, I guess I could put other colors into it now.
I would put like a multi-color scheme, at least 2-color scheme.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's not like... Because at first
silver
it was like
red,
the
maybe?
Silver Siren, she was going to be silver. But now, because she's Valkyrie, I could really play with some colors now.
Yeah, maybe like a 3-point color palette with silver, red, and something else.
Yes.
Because the Crusader was what color?
Red and black.
Red and black. So you maybe
He was black armor with red trim around the edge, and the cross that he had in the middle was red.
Yeah, so maybe like a kind of counterpoint and go like silver and blue or something like that. I don't know. Well,
I mean, silver and blue would work.
Yeah, I'm just saying to counterpoint his.
That's actually interesting because... the whole thing that I have with her and what the Silver Siren was that, so while she's studying abroad, you had mentioned an idea that is great. I'm going to let you go into the exact of that. But the premise,
you want to talk about my panel by panel thing I gave you earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
But we're catching up to where we were to get you guys into the conversation. So we're not just going off and you guys being like, whoa, what's going on
What the hell are
here?
you talking about?
But my idea that I had for her is that how she would get, hers would be powers.
Yeah.
But not like anything.
Powers.
Kind of. Like, so she would find these weapons. Originally, when it was the Silver Siren,
she found them in like an old pawn
thrift
shop.
store. Yeah, pawn shop. And it would be basically these weapons were, she couldn't explain it, but they were calling to her. So, like, she was drawn to them in some reason, some way. And you find out through, like, reading the comic that what was calling to her was the siren. The siren song was kind of like bonding with her, drawing her to it. And now that she actually has them in her possession, that spirit that has possessed the weapons is now possessing her. Where you've kind of, yes and no, but you kind of hit the nail on the head where then she would kind of have a Venom situation in her head. Where it's not a spirit that would come out.
It's in her head.
She would have an extra voice in her head that at first she wouldn't know where it comes from. I'm still thinking of that, but you had a great idea of why the pawn shop is not the best idea for Valkyrie.
So since you brought up the study abroad thing, I'm like, well, you bring up it's Valkyrie.
Yes.
Why not make it like Norway, Sweden, or even Finland?
And the thing I should probably say abroad is the reason why I've chose Valkyrie is because
don't forget to add that
the duality between the brother and sister, because Crusader and Valkyrie are brother and sister, is Crusader will not kill. Just will not. Like, it's not even in his moral compass.
Yeah.
Whereas the sister is going to be on the other side of basically this, more black and white, where you're in the wrong, I am choosing, he dies.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Basically, kind of like a
Executioner.
Kind of like a Punisher situation.
Punisher,
where it's
Daredevil.
like, this is a
dynamic.
This is a bad guy. This is what he did. I think he deserves to die, and cut that. And that's why the Valkyrie name I thought fit, because very loosely because I was researching about the Valkyrie, and it said that they were the ones that kind of chose who got slain and who comes to Valhalla
to, like, what warrior come to Valhalla, and if you don't get picked up by them, well, you just go to hell then.
Yeah, where she's got that kind of decision. Is there a squirrel out there?
Yeah, he looks like he's going to jump at the window.
He's going to jump at the window. Like, if you hear a bang, the squirrel jumped at the window.
Well, you guys have been warned now.
It's happened during a podcast.
I believe it. He's just like rearing up. So Ben, here's back to the
quick aside with that.
Yeah.
The reason why that's funny, and for our YouTube listeners watching you, is because that's actually happened with Dave and I. Where a squirrel
you told me.
Jumped at the window. Dave jumped, and without phasing, I'm like, yeah, a squirrel jumped at the window, Dave. Come on, let's keep going. But that's kind of why I chose Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Because she's going to have that same kind of thought in her head of, like, the people that she goes after, she has a reason for them to be dead, and she will be the one to make that decision and carry out that action.
Yeah. So back to so you want me to start going with what my play-by-play on? So
now that they know why she's the Valkyrie.
Yes.
As well.
So we were before the show. We were kind of bouncing it back and forth, and basically I was giving you a panel by panel.
Yes.
So she's studying abroad, and what are most teenagers going to want to do? They're going to want to explore. So she's going out into the landscape of
kind of like going for a hike.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it's evening. She's like sneaking off campus because like I'm tired of being on campus type thing, or wherever she has to be, wherever she's supposed to stay,
the
dormitory, or even if it's like an exchange,
if it's like a
family house, a sponsor family, she's like supposed to stay in. Well, she goes out into the wilderness, goes exploring, and we were discussing like even the terrain, down to the terrain of like it's somewhat woodsy but also like mountainous in the area, and she's stumbling. It's kind of dusk, almost evening. She comes upon these group of people. was one of the concepts we had. And it's like a big group of people, one guy standing sort of on top of a rock in the middle, and the few guys standing around, those are his next guys down. Do you want to explain that part?
You can go ahead.
So this was your part.
Yes.
The top guy's name is Odin.
Like code names.
Code names, yeah. He calls himself Odin because he's the grandmaster, the leader.
Yeah.
The guys, his second hands are Tyr, I always forget how to pronounce it, Loki and Thor. And it's Tyr. I forgot how they actually, are you looking that up?
Well, I only got the reason why I even thought of that was because of God of War.
Okay.
Like, he's in God of War.
Yeah.
And, like, with that, I heard that and I was like, huh. I thought, like, I've always, with the Norse mythology, because I'm not like you.
Yeah.
I'm not immersed into it. I always knew Loki to be Thor's brother.
Yeah.
Because of Marvel.
Technically, always half brother.
Yeah.
No, in Marvel and in Norse mythology.
But, like...
Or stepbrother? Something like whatever.
But, like, Tyr or Tyre or whatever you want to... However it's pronounced... He's in God of War. I'm like, huh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, he has another brother. He's in the comics
for Marvel.
Yes, but they never mention him really
in the MCU.
No, not that I can remember.
Probably an extra character that they just didn't want to.
They didn't want to deal with because it's whatever. It's like,
But and the whole thing with
added
that
complications.
Is, I don't know if you mentioned this, is where she finds him just kind of stuck in the snow. Or stuck in whatever ground it is.
That was a different concept we were going off of. So the one.
So how would you say she finds them? Like, what are the exact position the blades are in?
If we're gonna go with what those people were doing, because this is what I was brainstorming while you were talking. Actually, what if like she's there, she's exploring, and she sees this group, they're like almost like an occult style group, and they're having like a ceremony,
kind of like Walking Dead style, where they sneak up on the cannibals.
Yes,
where they're like kind of overlooking the cannibals while they're like at their cookout, and it's like, what are they doing? And where they eventually find out, oh, they're cooking people and eating people.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
My thought though was like, remember the scene, and this may you guys may not, when Negan has them all like kind of semicircled.
Yes,
when he's about to, the amount of people there.
Okay,
is the amount of people I'm thinking.
So there's quite a few people.
Quite a few people. Okay. That's the like group size I'm thinking, and that's like they're all sitting around. You got the four in the middle, Odin on top of the rock, and what's stuck in that rock is the two blades. And they're about to have a ceremony where they like pull someone in, either
kind of sort of the stone ass.
Sort of esque, yeah.
Who is worthy enough?
Well, I don't even know if it's worthy. Maybe they're like praising these daggers, and they're trying to find someone to embody.
I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna throw something out there. Not in stone, just laying there like on a stone tablet.
Oh, that works too.
And the reason why I say that is, so here's what I'm gonna throw out. And you guys, also, I didn't mention this earlier. If you guys think of like if you guys have ideas of what we're throwing out, good, bad, I want to know.
Yeah, we do.
And also, I want to know if there's something you think of, because this is all just me. Also, the reason why I wanted to do this kind of selfish is kind of brainstorm a little bit and throw a lot of people into this, because my own head, I'd always second guess of like, oh, you'll notice the Crusader is a lot like myself, which usually tends to happen.
I mean, that's a good way to do characters sometimes.
Exactly, but
put a little of yourself in them.
Maybe they're on a stone, like flat surface, kind of like a table is.
Yeah.
But it's like a stone rock.
Well,
and what they're looking to find out is, so the leaders of this group, there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
There's Odin at the top. There's the 2 commanders of Thor and Tyr, however you want to say it. And then there's the enforcer, the brute,
Loki.
Valkyrie.
Oh, Valkyrie.
Like, there's this person that embodies the Valkyrie, where they are because it's brutal, like choosing who they're basically the one where Odin says, go kill them. And then the Valkyrie is the person that goes and gets the job done. The mercenary, not the mercenary, just the, who do I want to compare it to? It's kind of like X-Men First Class, where Kevin Bacon's character, Azazel, and he goes, and he kills the guy.
Yeah.
That's the situation that Valkyrie is, where if Odin wants someone dead, she's going to get her hands dirty and be the one to do it. What it could be is that person is dead, something happened where she is no longer, and they now have to figure out, all right, who from the greater population of our organization, who is the weapons going to choose?
Here.
And because you've got to bind with the spirit of the Valkyrie that possesses these weapons.
See, here's the thought I had. So they're like the occult. I was almost giving it like an occult vibe, and they're praising those things. So the reason the reason I was saying stuck in there, but you can actually have them like on there if you really want to, is because the blades kind of have to choose you as well.
Exactly.
So like
and that's what I was kind of going for.
Here's what I was going
too.
for though. It's like they maybe even drag people against their will
to see,
and like if they touch it, if it doesn't agree with them, basically like suck the life out of it type dealio. And
I like that.
Yeah, so that's why like Odin can't touch it. Not even Odin can touch them.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to go with. That's why I had them kind of stuck in there.
I like that, but I'm gonna mend our two together probably, because I like the idea of the occult thing of, because they're bad people.
Yeah. I mean, not all occultists are bad people, but this group is.
Yes. This
I just
one is.
I just want to state that I don't like.
This one is like, because there's a
they
reason.
They don't care if someone dies from like.
Yes.
Okay.
They just want to find somebody that can be bound with these weapons. And maybe it's the fact of they know this. They're not in the stone. They're on the table.
Yeah.
But it's much of you like, hey, we are bringing people up to see who binds with these weapons. And what I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking in my head. And this could be kind of the first part of it, is like they put the weapons in the person's hands, kind of like what you see, what you were saying, where it's like one panel is like the hair standing up and you just see that color blue. Like, I'm thinking like a bright, icy blue. Yeah. Is like just going up through the vein of the arm, and you see it go up through into like by the eyes. And it's going to be one of two ways. The first one that doesn't at all, you just see like it fights. You see the panel where it's like it's going up to the eye, and then all of a sudden it's just like either, I don't want to say the head explodes. But kind of like and they have like a seizure and then a heart attack. What if kill them?
What if it's almost like, since you're going Norse mythology, you're going Valkyrie. What if, since you said icy blue, what if it like reaches the eyes and just like almost like frostbite freeze over, and just like
if they're dead,
yeah, just like their hands look like that, and just
and then they're like stone of ice.
Yeah, basically.
Because the thing I was thinking for the sister, however she gets to getting the blades.
I was going to get to that next, actually. All right.
Before you get to that,
I was going to let you finish yours.
I'm going to Quentin Tarantino it. I'm going to tell you how it ends, and then you tell me how we get there.
Okay.
When she gets the weapon, hair stand up, vein going up, it gets to the eyes, and her, out of fear, closes her eyes, and it's just a panel of her with her eyes closed, and then she opens them, and her irises are icy blue. Meaning, like, it's connected. Yeah. She's a perfect match.
Yeah. So the way I did too, actually. So how I was gonna say, because she's like watching all this happen. That's why I like
from
what
like
you said.
A cliff, or like
she's like, I would say like
a little hill or something.
It's like the brush and everything behind it. So and it's just kind of tropey. It's tropey-ish.
Is she behind the leaders or behind the crowd? Like, she can't tell who's leading the meeting?
She can sort of see, like, there's people in the middle, and then she can see the group.
Okay.
She's, like, in the, like...
So she's a little bit elevated.
Maybe a little bit elevated, or even far... I would say almost far enough back.
So that she can see?
She can see all this happening, because, like, there's fire and stuff like that. Like, just some, like, torches, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And it's a little bit tropey, but, like, she's watching this whole thing happen, and she... How do I put this? She's watching the whole thing happen, like, and that would kind of go into why she, like, closed her eyes out of fear, because she watched the person die. And then, like, she's leaning a little bit too far, because you're getting too intrigued.
Yeah.
And snap twig, or, like, leans too far and, like, rustles into the bush that's there, or whatever. Something that makes some sound.
Yeah.
Odin just tells his ravens.
Without even looking, just boom.
Tells his ravens.
What if the ravens are like
go?
Like, not, I don't want to say ninjas, but like foot soldiers.
Yeah, that's what they basically would be. Like, it's the sort of the swift
And
elite.
they've got like kind of like what I would think is I'm gonna go Game of Thrones ish here.
Like a raven.
They've got like a raven pendant, like either sewn on or clipped.
You can be a wolf. Here's one. You can be a wolf or a raven.
And that just separates like what type of foot soldier you are.
Yeah, wolves are more like the brute force fighting, and the ravens are like intel and quick and
more
stealth.
roguish.
Yeah, so he sends them.
Yeah,
and obviously you're gonna have like a little chase scene that's gonna be like a few panels long. They capture her, drag her back. He's like, have her grab him. She can't. It's
basically like your punishment is. Either you're a match and it's good for us, or your punishment is you die.
Yeah, it's like you're either. It's like at first he's like you can make him mull over like.
God, I kind of like that.
We're gonna have. Well, she's seen the whole thing happen, so she's gotta die. It's like
she's gonna die either way.
She's gonna die, and then he like comes to it. Let's have her grab him.
Yeah.
So they like force her to grab them, and that's when it goes into your scene.
No, I really. And then she touches them. They have them in the hands. The whole panel, same panel as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You see the hairs stand up. You see the icy vein come up. It goes to the eye. And then she closes them out of fear because she doesn't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then she opens them, and there's that icy blue. And that's how the blue that you mentioned from the...
goes into the suit.
Because like her... Because I've always imagined the spirit, because originally when it was Silver Siren, I thought it was going to be kind of like a spirit just goes around the arm and goes up that way into the mind.
And I would actually have it go into the veins.
Because now it's in the vein. It's in the bloodstream.
It's taking over.
It's a part of you.
Yeah,
you're not getting rid of me, basically. No, I really like that. Now, the thing with this, and this is just my idea, I want to know what you think about this. The way I have it planned right now, the reason why I wanted to make them a little bit different is, first off, the brother-sister thing.
Yeah.
The age gap of what it is. Part of it was me and my sister are kind of like that. And the Crusader's kind of like an extension of me. And I have a younger sister. So there was that part of it. Oh, she'll be younger. Because I've never had a reference of an older sibling. I'm not like Dave. I'm not like you.
Yeah.
Well, your sister's older, right?
Older than me, yeah.
Yeah. So I've never had that reference of an older sister or an older sibling. I've always been the oldest. So that's where that came from. But also, I wanted it to be the archenemy is not going to be introduced in the original origin story.
No.
Where this gives me a chance of I introduce the sister. This is so hey, he has a sister, send her away so that I could tell the Crusader's origin story, and then after I have him set up with everything he wants to do, because that's the next thing I want to go into and kind of pick your brain about, because I have ideas about that and what Mark and I have talked about before. But then after that is established, when she's introduced, the way that I had thrown it out to you, that I've never read a comic that does this, is when she's going to be introduced, it's going to be Crusader, but it's going to be from her point of view telling her origin story. And after she's introduced, at either time, the graphic novel could flip, where it's like one issue for this one is from her point of view, but whichever point of view you're from, they feel like they're the good guy.
You're trying to make them.
They're doing the
You're
right
trying to make
thing.
them even seem like the good guy in their own comic.
Exactly. Like
the one thing
I'm not gonna write the Valkyrie one and make her look like the bad one from her point of view, because she's gonna believe
in her head she's doing the right thing.
Yeah, I am right, or me and this voice are right.
Now, here's what I'm going to throw out to you. You said the same comic, you have it labeled The Crusader. What if you made it almost like a separate comic and title it Valkyrie? So, like, whenever it's hers, it's titled Valkyrie. And you almost have them like separate comics that eventually, like this, and then just come together like that.
See, I thought about that, but I would probably do... What I would probably do is still have Crusader on there, so all right, this is linked to the Crusader. Kind of like Batman and Robin, how it's like Batman and Robin. But what I could do is Crusader, if it's hers, have the Crusader font in her colors.
There you go. That works too.
So it's like, all right, this is her story, but it's still the Crusader at the head of it.
Okay.
Here's what I want to throw out to you. This is now going back to the Crusader, going to his origin story.
Yes.
So one of the big things I mentioned in what I have down for him is, what does he need? What does this character need? Because I went through what he wants, what he needs, what he fears, what opposes them. And the big need that I have for him is, and I know people are going to be like, oh, it's an Uncle Ben situation. Kind of is an Uncle Ben situation without being that, where he feels the need to live up to his grandfather. Mm-hmm. However, here's the thing that I'm taking different than Uncle Ben, where Uncle Ben, tragedy has struck, you actually see him. Number one, we never see the grandfather die on panel. Number two, he's already dead before the story starts. Number three, the Crusader, because I already have one of these panels picked out, where he makes fun of the Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Like, he makes fun of, like, who do you think I am, Peter Parker? Or, like, who do you think he is? What do you think this is, Uncle Ben? Like, making fun of that, because I didn't want it to be that same thing. But basically the point of that, how he dies, is just, you don't see it on panel right now is what I'm thinking. I could be persuaded off of this if you think I should. Basically, it's just his grandfather was his biggest role model growing up, died of natural causes, so it wasn't really anything spectacular. It was just something of, I have to, like, what am I going to do to live in my grandfather's footsteps? And he takes it to the nines to become the Crusader somehow. But the thing that Mark and I always threw out there, and I don't know if I'm completely sold on this, is that Mark, and this is going with an idea Mark had, is that in the house, he's just walking around like maybe he's thinking about the grandfather and kind of self-doubting. Mm-hmm. Like I've written into his character, and he like leans up against the bookcase or something, and it moves. And it's like, what the hell? I don't remember ever having a moving bookcase in this house. And he goes down, and it's almost like a Batcave situation, but not really. It's just like a room, kind of like
Grandpa's secret study.
Exactly, Grandpa's secret study. Not even like a huge cave. Not even like Into the Spider-Verse where it's a spider
like a room.
Cave.
It's just a room.
Yeah, it's a room. And he finds out in that room that his grandfather, way back, was a vigilante called the Crusader, like in the 50s. Yeah. In like the 50s, the 60s, something like that, depending on how old you want to make it. Maybe like the 40s, 50s.
Somewhere between the 40s and 60s.
Yes. And the line that Mark always said, and I didn't know if this sounded cheesy, and I felt like this kind of leaned into the Uncle Ben thing that I was trying to not be into, but Mark had said that maybe the grandfather, through the flashbacks that he has, the one thing the grandfather would always say, and it would seem something totally just not related, but it would be like, well, you know, blank, because we don't know the Crusader's name. Well, you know, sometimes you just got to pick up the sword. Or sometimes it just takes that one to pick up the sword. And it was the idea that we kind of brainstormed, is that him finding the study, finding out this is what his grandfather did as a secret life when he was getting to his age. It kind of fits of like, oh, sometimes it takes somebody to pick up the sword. And then that's where he kicks into, I'm picking up the sword, but he's not using a sword. Maybe
even the display case of the original suit that he was wearing at the time.
That's what Mark had thrown out. What is your idea of that? Because I'm not totally married to that idea.
So
that's just what we had on paper.
I like the rest of it. I was almost going to even give you that, like, the grandfather throughout the years before he passed away saw the potential in his grandson, and in his will left him a trunk. And then had him open it, like, and the thing was like, just open this in your own place. Your parent, like, almost like your parents don't get to know about this. This is yours and yours alone. Inside there's a note saying like where to find like all his Crusader stuff and everything. and like maybe just like some other like a bunch of like old stuff of his. Nothing like that really necessarily relates to the Crusader, or maybe just the costume or something. You can make whatever you want inside the trunk, but there's one letter in the top of it, handwritten, just saying like how he saw potential in him, how he hopes he figures out the right thing, and where to find everything. He goes down to that room, like pulls that thing, goes down to that room, and sees like almost like this whole room, like almost like this size,
a study, yeah,
like a study, big table, like obviously generic study, with like a bunch of news articles that he clipped out of like his life as the Crusader, his suit
kind
right
of
there,
almost like Kingsman style.
Yeah, Kingsman style. And then like you have the Crusader thing, and on like one of the walls, or like right behind the desk of the study, his weapon of choice. I don't know, maybe he did choose a sword, maybe he choose like a blunt ended,
maybe I'm not
like maybe like a blunt ended like two-handed like stick, or not like full bow staff, just like.
I'm trying to think, maybe what if he did choose a sword?
Maybe he did,
like, because
it can kind of tie both in, because he didn't like maybe he didn't necessarily kill everyone, but those who like could not.
Here's another thing I want to ask you, just to see what you think of this idea.
Okay,
because this popped into my head as you were talking. The idea of maybe this moniker, this Crusader alias, has been passed down. Like his grandfather wasn't the first.
No, he wasn't.
His father was a Crusader. His grandfather was a Crusader. And it's kind
maybe
of
it's not like dad.
It's a family lineage.
Maybe
thing.
it's not necessarily like every generation was, because like you leave that gap. Like the father had nothing to do with it. Maybe it's the mother's dad.
Well, yeah, it would be the mother's dad.
So there you go. The father was never
true.
So it's like it's passed down family to family, or like,
but it skips generations.
What if it's not even family to family? It's like whoever they see as like potential.
Very much Kingsman aspect of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the one thing I was also going to bring up too about the grandfather's death, I think you and I discussed it a while back.
Does it have to be an Uncle Ben situation?
It doesn't necessarily have to be Uncle Ben. He dies in his arms.
Or
great,
a Batman situation. Like, great power comes great responsibility. Don't you dare finish that line.
No, what the thing we talked about years ago.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you want to give them a good, like a really good motivation for the hero to do this thing. I liked what we discussed before. So, grandfather having a heart attack, being hauled off in an ambulance.
Oh yeah,
robbery.
This was way back.
Robbery just coming through, bam, hits that ambulance.
T-bones the
ambulance, ruins chances of grandfather surviving the heart attack. He's just blaming villains. He blames anyone who does crimes, and maybe like
because then that gives him the first thing of like who to go after.
Who to go after gives him a motive of like going after people. So maybe his first one, he goes after the guy that robbed that bank and just beats the ever living shit out of him, like near death, and realize like before he does his final blow, thinks like my grandfather wouldn't want this.
Yeah,
right before he's about to like finish, like completely finish off, just like starts thinking, like just one of those pauses, like I'm disappointing.
Question for you. And this is just coming into my head. As a reader, and this is, you guys can help answer this as well, what would be more impactful? Or what would be A, more impactful, B, not cheesy? Because I don't want this to be fucking ultra cheesemo as well. That the ambulance is going, gets T-boned by a getaway, or there's a robbery in progress. It doesn't T-bone the ambulance, but because of where the bank is, it creates longer time that the ambulance could get to the hospital. They get to the hospital, they wheel them in, they get there just too late. Like the doctor says, if you would have got here 5 minutes ago, I could have saved him. Could be, but that would be like kind of hard to like. If you want to try, you got like, is that not going to be? You got to like, play around with the word. Will a scene like that not be? I feel it's not as impactful. Not as impactful on the hero. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not as impactful because like straight up T-bone and the guy ran. Yeah, it's a little bit more impactful than it was 5 minutes late because of the bank robbery. I feel like that's a little bit more impactful. Yeah, I was just, and this is also in my head, and this is why I'm throwing this off of, because in my head, one of the biggest things I didn't want is, let's be completely honest, when I made this character as a joke at first.
Yeah, we did make him
so, recap. We're going to go back in the Wayback Machine really quick. I've said this on a podcast before, but just to
where are we
catch you
going
guys up.
today, Mr. Peabody?
So 2012, us and a group of friends cosplay as the Avengers.
Yeah.
We make a funny group that, the Revengeancers, and we all come up with heroes.
Yeah.
And mine was the most serious out of the few, because I kind of had this idea in back here, a little brainchild back there, but there was part of me that was like, this is never, like, and I was like, it's just going to be my two favorite heroes put together. Spider-Man because he's a young kid, Batman because he's kind of like that vigilante in a sense. But when I actually was like, I'm going to really start writing this, I'm going to take this kind of a little bit more serious than that, my biggest thing is I don't want to write this, have it all done, and then someone goes, yeah, while I was reading it, I just was thinking about Batman the whole time. Yeah. Like, I want it to be its own creation. Although, yes, you have inspirations from everywhere.
Obviously, you're going to have inspirations from everywhere.
But I just, in my own head, like, I'll write something down and be like, is that too much like this? Is that too much like what's already out there? To where they think like, it's just Batman. It's just Spider-Man.
See, I think you want the motivation to be impactful though, to get back to that.
It's got to hit
hard. Because if it's like it was 5 minutes late, you can like any person could possibly just brush it off as that was really unfortunate. But like, because if the ambulance is stopped because of the bank robbery, it's the robbers, it's the cops, it's a lot of different. You can have a group of crowds. This is directly the robber's fault because he ran through the light and slammed into that ambulance. So there is one person at fault in that initial state.
Yeah, where it's his fault. I have to go after them.
Yeah,
and then because I don't know. With me, I kind of feel like I like your idea of kind of like the bam, bam, bam. But I've always had the idea in the back of my head that the first time he goes after him, he fails.
Okay.
And kind of this plays into his whole fear of failing to where I've always had it in my head the first time he goes after him, he thinks he's ready. He goes in.
Yeah, do it.
He's not. He fails. He almost loses his life. Because he doesn't think, hey, they have guns.
Yeah.
Doesn't even think about that.
No.
And it's like I think of some of the dialogue, and even like one of the this is kind of a throwback to like the Batmans and stuff where with Robin, where it's like, hey, look at this, the kid brought a bow staff to a gunfight. Like that kind of a thing. Whereas in Robin's case, he kicks their ass. Or in this case, holy shit, I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I've got bullets flying at me. He's just sitting there like, what do I do? I've never had a bullet fly at me in my life.
Bullets fly at me? Just like he crashes in, sort of, or like.
And he just gets to like,
like there's like 6 guys there, and he doesn't realize I am not ready for this.
Yeah.
He just gets his ass beat, and before they're gonna like kill him. It's like, you're not fucking worth it.
Yeah. Kind of make him feel useless. Like, you're not even worth being killed.
Yeah, you're not even worth us killing you, kid.
And then he feels like, and that could play into like the failure. And then it plays into also if we do the trunk thing that you talked about, it plays into the fear of like, am I ready? Am I living up to what you saw in me?
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously I'm not.
There you go. See, we just got
oh my God.
We just fed everything together.
It just comes right back.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't know is how he then learns that.
Self-teaching?
Does he go to a Krav Maga class and that's how he...
Maybe he just starts...
Krav Maga.
Maybe he just decides like, you know what? My school offers these. I'm going to start doing this class. I'm going to start doing this class. His parents aren't going to think any of it. He just goes to university.
He's taking extra electives.
He's taking extra electives. He's keeping himself busy. He's trying to even like get in shape. Like you make him whatever.
Yeah.
Because obviously
joins
he's going to
like
be...
the track
he's
team
gonna,
or something.
Yeah. Like just does like anything college students would do. Like some colleges offer like MMA. Actually, NIU. My friend took MMA classes while they were there, so maybe he starts taking some of those.
Or he just goes to like a gym.
Yeah, and maybe he does
because like in real life they have like the UFC.
You can
gyms
make like multiple scenes where some days he does like say a Tuesday this time he's at like you show him doing this class. A Wednesday this time he's doing this class. Thursday this time. It's like you show like a regimented schedule he started just so he can get in shape and trained to do this.
Here's the thing though, and question for you. Is this also the part, maybe it's one of these panels in this, is this also the part where we start showing the disconnect with him and his friends? We're up until this point, university kid hanging out with his friends and stuff. Now, because his time is being taken up by this and this and this, we're starting to see that disconnect of, oh, he would be at the burger shop with his friends here. But it's a panel of them there. He's not there.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
I would show that.
We're starting to see that he's not around as much as he used to. Or like family dinner. Their mom and dad are sitting there because sister's studying abroad. Mom and dad are sitting there. He's not at the table.
Yeah.
Where it's like this time
show,
is being
and not just friends,
away.
like show different parts of the life aspect.
I don't want it to be something where like he's skipping school.
No,
but like
that's the part he's keeping up with. It's like everything else, like
he's not
family, friends, different things. He's just cutting out on now to get ready and to do like, and then eventually to do the other thing
because he's diving in 110%. I'm trying to think, is there anything?
And that's the thing, like friends and even family will start to think of it as, and then you can start playing into the parent aspect, like, is everything okay? You don't come to dinner anymore. Like,
kind of.
Like we get you're studying real hard for school, but you are like never at dinner anymore. You never hang out with your friends, blah, blah, blah. And you can start playing into those aspects, make it more real too.
Yeah. And I
because like when your family member dies, especially if he's as close to his grandfather like that, it's going to be like hard on him and the parent, like it'll be that type of thing.
Question.
Yes.
Should I, in the origin story, with the, let's say the mafia, the mob, whatever, the one that T-boned the grandfather, should I make it a situation where it's kind of like a Marconi kingpin type of situation where maybe don't introduce like right away, like yes, but kind of hint to there's a larger figure at the top
definitely.
of this that can later be a villain later on.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, didn't you say you have it based in Chicago?
Yeah, that's another thing that I'll ask you about. And I've had conversations with different people about this.
Yes.
Do I do the Marvel side of it where in Chicago, where he's just in Chicago, kind of like, oh, they're just in New York. Now, the pro to that is that you're in Chicago. Like you can
it's
put
relatable.
it in a real world. The con to that is like the Marvel thing. How many superheroes are in New York?
A lot.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
everyone.
And they don't overlap at all. So there's that. Like, not like overlap, like team up, but like...
Yeah.
So all their fights just happen synonymously with themselves and nobody else, no other hero. Like Captain America can go, hey, Spidey, help me out every single time.
No, because they're all doing their own fights.
But that's the con to
Which insurance has to be shit, by the way.
Exactly. But, or do I go the DC side of it, make it relatable to Chicago, but call it its own name?
My money, put it in Chicago, then you can have some fun with like naming city blocks and like whatever, like you can cities, streets, and you can actually like make. To me, it's more relatable then
because you're putting it in the real world.
You are, because that's what.
Is this why you've always liked Marvel over DC?
Yeah, partially. Okay. That's part of it. It's
because like me, I always like one of the things I liked about Batman is I always saw Gotham as Chicago.
Yeah, which is it's based off of it.
Or like because Metropolis was New York.
Exactly, it is based off of it, but I like the fact that it actually is in the real world because then they reference things. It's like when we saw that movie with Bruce Willis. Based in Chicago.
Yes.
Can't remember the name of it.
It was... I'm going to look it up, but go ahead.
Yeah. They actually like had a Man Cow in the Morning on there right before it got shut down or the radio station got changed to something else. They had City Streets.
Death Wish.
Death Wish. And they have like city street names we recognize right away. And that's the cool part to me is like things you recognize. Like hell, you can have them like someone says Willis Tower. It's like, I'm still not calling it that.
I'm still not calling that. You can do whatever you want.
It's the Sears Tower. You can, because he would be at that age where he may still know it at, like, may have known it as the Sears Tower for years, and they changed the name to Willis Tower. Just tangent, but it still kind of makes it relatable.
Because I know for sure I'm going to make it in present day.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be present. Whenever I have it written, that's what's going to be present day. Yeah, that's just one thing where I'm not completely sold on it yet.
Yeah.
Because I see the pros and cons with both.
Yeah.
Of basically, hey, this is... Because I like the idea of having it be real. Like, it's in Chicago. It's relatable. To anybody.
That's the cool parts too. You don't always have to make things up. You can go, okay, well, what would be happening over this area? That's it.
Because I mean, but I also do see the part in like, and this is down the road of like, because the Crusader is my only hero. But if there's more heroes that start to develop, I mean, maybe like if you make a hero that gets put
you're trying to reference the one we were talking about the other day.
I mean, we can throw it in there because
I was going to make mine actually based in Chicago.
Because here's the thing I'm looking at right now with mine.
Yeah.
There's one more thing in my head, but I don't want to like that. I'm in the tricky situation now of like, because people watching and listening right now, I want you guys are on this journey with me. Like, this is me welcoming you in on the journey. And I mean, I might just say it because like, I mean, it's going to be years probably, or it might be a while before, if at all this gets published. I'm just putting ideas to paper right now. But one of the ideas that I had, screw it, I'll say it, that I threw out to you is that, so the origin story happens, like the first 5 issues, maybe 6 issues, are the Crusader's origin story. The sister's not even in the picture.
Yeah, she's boarding. You reference her, you said, right?
Yes,
but
we
she's
reference
not there.
her at the beginning. In the first issue, she is referenced, but it's more of like, I don't know if it's going to be an actual like scene, or if it's just going to be him talking and it's just one panel of like them hugging at an airport. Because
I think
they're sending her to sending her to the study abroad program. I keep saying boarding school.
Yeah, it's not boarding school.
That's not right. But here's the idea I had, and this is the kind of the outline I have. First 5-6 issues, which is the first graphic novel, all the Crusader intro. Like, that's his origin story, that first graphic novel. The second graphic novel starts off her origin story.
Yeah.
It starts what we talked about earlier, but here's what happens. X, Y, and Z, maybe the first 3 issues are everything going on with what we said earlier, her getting her powers. The 4th one is her coming home.
Yeah.
She finally comes home. And at first, here, just let me get
go ahead and
everything
finish
out.
it, yeah.
So she comes home. It's a great kind of experience. Here's where I don't know let's fill in the blanks, but here's the main plot point I want to hit is she comes home. Everything's fine at first. The major tragedy of this next 5 issues is that I'm going to throw it this way. The father cheats on the mother. Like, they find out that their father has been cheating for a couple months or a year on the mother.
Yeah.
And that shakes the family dynamic. In the 5th issue, the next major plot point is her and the brother come face to face. They don't know. They don't know, and the reader won't know at first. Because I want to reference nothing with her as the Valkyrie. Like, when she the reader is going to know. Reader will know because of the origin story with her being the Valkyrie. So the reader will know.
What if
the character won't know?
What if you introduce the Valkyrie first and then do the sister's origin story?
So start the graphic novel with her coming home. And basically...
No, I mean, do his origin story, then have her come home.
No. Yeah. I'm saying the first 6 issues are done. It's his origin.
Yeah.
We're now on the second one.
Yeah.
The second one starts
her
off
coming home.
Her coming home.
Yeah.
And it's basically her life at home, getting reunited with the brother, this and that.
And then you introduce the plot
the
twist.
plot happens where the father cheats.
Yeah.
And then the end of the issue is the Crusader has an idea of, I'm going to talk to my dad, but I can't talk. I can't talk to him as myself.
You need to talk to him as the Crusader.
I'm going to talk to him as the Crusader. And while they are doing that, I'm going to say ambush because she drops down. This is the first time you see the Valkyrie. And it's just like, huh? Who are you? Just not even like, no, you don't have any time to think. It is just drop down. He peers, like, here's how I see the panels. It's him talking to the father, shot of the Crusader, shot of the father, panel. The next one, you just see douche, where she just drops down behind the father. You see him peer around the father, like, oh, what's going on? And then dagger right through the middle of the chest, right through like where the heart would be almost, just right through it, and then pulls it away and jumps up and gone. Or
you said
not
she's
even
got...
jumps up, but just that shock value of who is that, and then boom, just no thinking, kills the father. Go on, what you were going to say.
I was going to say two things. The one for the... Yeah, so then you can go, like, jump from that, Valkyrie's origin story. That way you can just, like, hey, you've now seen who the Valkyrie is, now you get her origin story, and that's when the fans go,
or...
oh my God. Like,
or...
go, like, what? Yeah.
Or... Let's not... And I'm going to say this very, very crudely.
Yeah.
Let's not blow our load too soon, Johnny.
Oh.
You see the Valkyrie... Because that would be the end of the second graphic novel.
Yeah.
That is what you're left with. Mm-hmm. What if the third one is...
The dealing with the father dying?
He's got to deal with his dad dying because it picks up with the dad in his arms, like maybe, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
The dad then officially dies. He's got to deal with that. The whole startup of him finding out who... Because
trying to find out the Valkyrie.
I think I might push that. I think I might leave that little nugget of who she is.
A mystery for at least...
A mystery, because, like, that's the part of it where I'm thinking for the reader, I want that to be a mystery.
Except for them now.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping by the time it comes out, they forget everything.
Yeah, we can hope so.
When I go to release it, I just delete those videos from existence.
Right.
It never happened.
I've got two ideas for the sister, actually.
Go ahead.
So her way of like, and it's for her.
So many
origin story.
things can change during the writing process.
Obviously, during her origin story, after she gets that thing, and Odin is like happy, super happy about this.
Yeah.
She is now like his to train.
Yeah.
So that's how she gets her fighting styles and everything. She is like after...
Oh, yeah, they train her.
Yeah.
They are kind of like... He's basically the Reish Agul to her.
Until it's her time to go home.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, like... Because like, what we can do is make the dynamic at first...
Here's the thing, though.
I'm not done yet.
I just want to throw this question out. Is she living the double life? So she's going back to the sponsor family? So, because if she's not going back there, then there would be a reason for the sponsor family would have to notify the actual family.
No, I think it's going to have to be like a sponsor family thing because they want to keep their cult secret.
That's what I'm saying. But she has to go home and stuff. It's not like she's prisoner.
No. Okay. He sends her back.
She's living a double life.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Out there, just like after school, she's going out.
Yeah.
She goes out there, trains with him. But then like change the dynamic. At first it's like a raged out ghoul. I'm training you. You're going to be mine. Eventually, she like starts to turn on him in a sense, not kill him, turn on him. Like he's training her. He's being abusive training, and then if you want, you don't have to go that far with it. Like
no, what popped into my head is basically, so he trains her. She becomes the Valkyrie because this is a 2-year thing.
What I was gonna say is more so it's like, he's training her, but it's more so training her to like cooperate with the Valkyrie spirit.
Well. Here's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Because this is she's there for 2 years. That's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time.
So what could happen is trains, teaches her how to use the Valkyrie spirit that has now possessed her. She becomes what the Valkyrie would be in their group, leads the Ravens, Odin, kill this person, and she's the one that goes and does it. What if after a while she's just like, why am I killing who you want? Why am I not making the decisions? Basically of like this person, she goes to Odin, this person should die. And Odin goes, it's not their time. Because Odin is thinking for the occult. He is thinking the greater vision of the occult. They will die, but they have a purpose to us for right now. Where she is just thinking black and white, but they should die. They're bad. And that starts a riff between them.
Well, my thing was I got like one scene in my head, like one panel or like section of panels where he tells her to kill. Like she's killed a few people now for him because and then she goes, why am I killing who he wants? So he has like his wolves bring up another person, like, kill this one. And she goes, you do it. Flips the blade, puts the handle towards him because she knows it'll kill him if it does it.
Yeah.
You want him dead, you kill him. Just that type of dynamic between them now.
Yeah.
Because she goes, what are you?
She's becoming defiant.
Exactly. She goes, well, she's like standing like with a double blade. He goes, kill him. Like, no. And
you do it.
You do it. You're so tough. You do it, and like in front of everyone, showing that he is not who he said. Like
no one has stood up to him before.
Yeah, he is not as big as he thinks. As big as everyone thinks he is. And then she goes, "Yeah, you want him dead? You kill him." Holds like the handle out towards him,
knowing that if he touches it,
it'll kill him. Yeah, you want him dead? You kill him. Otherwise, I'm gonna do what I want from now on.
The other just walks away.
And then, exactly, she walks away. Because he's not going to send... The rest of them are going to be now thinking, is he really their leader?
Yes.
And so none of them are going to listen and say when he says to go after her.
So basically then she does her Valkyrie thing in whatever...
She's going to do what she wants now. That's where that's the break point of like, I am no longer attached to this occult. That's where
then she... can become the Valkyrie and kind of practice what she's doing. So by the time...
Maybe that's like where...
By the time she would have gotten to Chicago again, it's not like she's... That's why she's so confident to drop down and just kill the father and not think about it because she's already had those moments like the Crusader had, which then in his mind puts her ahead of him. So there's that self-doubt in his head still and plays with that.
Now I got a question. Are you going to throw... You said she's got powers, right? Or is that strictly the Valkyrie?
So here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the Valkyrie kind of gives her not like Luke Cage type strength.
A little enhanced though.
But a little enhanced to where it's like... By enhanced, I mean when she's got the power... After she touches the blades and has the power of the Valkyrie, it's like she's... Boom. Her muscles become bigger and shit's like she's been working out. Not like oh, I've got all these
like could she lift a grown man by his neck like that if she wanted?
Maybe. Like I'm not
with some straining?
Yes. With like I would say that would probably be if I had her be able to lift a grown man with no ease by the neck.
Yeah.
That would be the extent of her power.
Yeah,
that is as strong as
she can lift, but she's like arm shaking and just enough to
I don't even know arm shake. Like, even if it's just she can do that, that would be the
if
max. I did that, that would be the max of her strength of just being able to do that at ease.
By the way, what I was going to say...
Because I don't want to make her... I don't want to make her too overpowered if I know the Crusader's not going to have
That's powers. What I'm saying. That's why I said, like, she's lifting the guy, but she's kind of shaking because... It's like a 250-pound grown man.
But if he, like, and the reason why I did this...
Which would be, honestly, even if her arm's shaking, she's lifting him by his neck... That's like feat of strength for her. Yes. That's pretty strong.
But like
for someone.
It kind of like where he's got the Crusaders working out and stuff and training. All she's got to work on is technique because the spirit kind of makes her stronger, gives her those muscles to where it kind of feels like she's been lifting weights and getting in that strong shape. So my other question for her. Well, actually, the one thing I was trying to say. So when she defines Odin, that's when she full like syncs with Valkyrie is what I was going to think of. Like that was the full sync with Valkyrie. Like she was at like a 95 percentile. And now she starts hearing the voice clear. Yeah. Maybe the voice is like distant and like what the voice has been trying to do is get her to defy Odin. Yeah, as she slowly like... gets into like each part of it and like all the training, the voice gets a little louder. What if before going like stepping back, before she denies him, Like, maybe the voice is like, and how this is written out in the comic is like, if it was going to say yes, like, Y jumbled up, E jumbled up, like, Y, E, and then like dots where it's like, you can kind of faintly hear like, yeah, where it's like, wait, what? What are you? And like, there could be moments where she's like, stop, because
as the training goes through,
she can't like process it because it sounds faint. What if right before she defies Odin, they say, kill her? And in her head, she goes to, and she hears, not clearly, but very faintly, no. And it's basically the voice got to her. And she finally heard, and it was like...
Finally stop resisting the voice.
And that's where she was like, you do it. And everyone, what? What's going... Maybe that's it. And then it clicks in, and then boom, her and the voice. And she also uses that time to sink in and have conversations with it, because they got to be working as a team.
Exactly. They got to be working together, because Valkyrie's inside the body.
It's a very Venom situation.
It is a very Venom, and to a degree. Like, it can never come out of her, obviously.
In her head.
Yeah.
Unless she dies.
That's the only way Valkyrie leaves, and it goes right back into the place. The other one I wanted to bring up,
which creates a dynamic down the line once the Crusader finds out who she really is.
Yeah.
Because in order to say, like, it creates another problem way down the line of, how do I save her?
Yeah. The other part is like, the other part would be too, is like, who am I, like at one point it's like, who am I talking to? My sister or Valkyrie?
Exactly. Kind of a dual personality thing going on. How much of the spirit will eventually take over. But last thing I do want to mention.
Well, I want to ask one thing.
Go ahead.
For the blade, would you consider making it like magic a little bit? So like,
what do you mean?
She's got a dual dagger, but she slams them together and pulls out like a handle, so it becomes a spear.
I mean, maybe down the road.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she have to learn that.
Develop that.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
That's what I'm saying, because like, or even like slam them together and pull them both out. It becomes two handle, like a double-edged blade or long blade. Because
before, and this was very early in the Crusader timeline. When I first had the idea, what it was going to be is the Crusader was going to be what kind of an iteration that we had now. But the main baddie at first was going to be a businessman type of situation where he's a businessman kind of like Lex Luthor, but he takes up the persona of Leonidas.
I still like that.
Kind of like a 300 type of situation where that is like, the Crusader's out doing his thing, and he just gets hit with a shield, and it's like, and he gets thrown against the wall, like crashes into it, and it's like, what? Why is there a Spartan in front of me? Because this guy would be in full like Spartan with the spear, honestly, and the shield.
What's a cool concept now that you brought into it? So you have the Crusader, which is also it was a
I'm dealing
Christian
with some mythologies.
You're bringing mythologies and religions into this, which is kind of cool, because now you have Valkyrie coming from the Norse. You have the Crusader, which is kind of
the Leonidas could be the Greek mythology.
The Greek and the Greek mythology. You're like bringing Greek warrior. You're bringing warriors slash mythology slash religion into these, because Crusaders were Catholic Christian knights way back in the day, fighting in the name of God, which. That's just kind of referencing that's your character. Now you have Valkyrie, which is part of the Norse mythology. Then you come with Leonidas, which is kind of the Greek warrior slash mythology thing. And that's cool. Like if you were to bring even more, because you can have like someone that calls himself
genetic experiment where it goes wrong and he's a minotaur.
You could do that if you really wanted to.
Greek mythology.
Yeah, if you wanted to. I was gonna say you can bring like Xerxes into it at some point.
Yeah.
And I know that's also from 300, but that's just an example. But
Greek mythology.
It gives you another, and that's now Persian. That's different aspects of different things. You can pull different things from different mythologies,
I can also
warriors.
go from like Aztecs. And the conquistadors.
You can have a samurai at some point if you wanted.
Samurais. What else am I?
Honestly, any sort of ancient warrior or ancient mythology, you can pull those out now and make it into something. Because that would be cool. You have a businessman. Maybe he decides, I don't like this Crusader thing. I'm going to take his ass down a peg.
And that was the MO of basically Lex Luthor type of a situation of like, I don't like this vigilante scum doing what he's doing. I'm going to kill him. That's basically
That's
it.
all it is. It's not a bad MO for just like
it's like Lex Luthor mixed with Kraven without Kraven. Like it's not all about the hunt. It's I want to kill you. I am not going to be satisfied until I kill you.
Does he strictly shield, or does he also have the Spartan spear?
Yeah, that's a spear and shield.
Oh, I didn't know if you said
both,
spear. I'm sorry,
with the red cape and the only thing is with the face, because he's that businessman, he wears a Leonidas mask.
I was going to say, he can just have the full Spartan helmet that comes down to here, and it cover most of his face.
True point. I was just the Spartan helmet doesn't.
Yeah, it only leaves like your eye slit, and some of your chin.
Here's the last thing I want to bring up, because we have talked for a while on this.
Yeah.
I want to bring up to you, I mentioned other heroes.
Yes.
Do you want to, at the end, do you want me to give you the floor to you to kind of give you the same opportunity that
I'll make mine brief because I don't have nearly as much as you do on yours yet.
I'm just saying, get it out.
But yeah, I'm willing to.
The MVP universe could help us.
Yeah, no, I'm willing to do this. So mine was, I used to have one that we did.
The Wayback Machine.
The Wayback Machine. When we started ours, actually, mine wasn't even my own thing. You guys made a joke.
Yeah.
And I started developing off of that at first.
After a while, I felt bad because I was like, is this what Johnny really wants, or do we just typecast him?
You typecasted me because I used to work at Kohl's.
Yeah.
And you guys, you could be the retailer. And so I started making jokes on it. It was like, that one was an Iron Man-esque, but like the joke was that like the repulsor was beep, like the cash register.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know what? I wanted to, you started talking about yours. I'm like, I do kind of want to make a real one. And it's been an idea. Serious, but it also like.
From the word go, I've been like, no, this is going to be a serious, like, not joke.
And other ones, like, I started mulling over my head before, like, you started telling me again that you're starting to go in. It's like, you know what? What happened to, like, in Marvel, for example, what happened to other Asgardians? Because there's one out there? No, because, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. showed one. So my thought was, I had a decent concept I thought would be cool. What if it's just an Asgardian trying to live an everyday life, but doesn't realize he's an Asgardian anymore? Like, fell from however he fell out of the sky and just wham! Just mind is no longer, like, I don't know who I am. Like, he can still tap into the all-speak because they... At least I know Thor can and Odin can, so I was going to go with, you know what? Some other Asgardians can. They tap into all speak so that he can still speak. He can speak English when someone speaks English to him. He understands. He understands other languages.
If someone speaks Spanish, he can speak Spanish.
Exactly. He knows, like...
But he doesn't know why.
He doesn't know why. He doesn't know why he can do these. Yeah. Like when he crashes down, he steps up, maybe grabs onto a car and like crunches in. And you're like,
that's weird.
That's weird. But then he like, obviously, like there's now in this one. This is one I thought of just recently. First, he's gonna learn how to be human. Yeah. He's gonna have to learn how to like everyday life. So I'm gonna have to find a way to like give him a.
Because do you want it to start with him crashing down? Like what you could.
What I think I'm gonna do is start
him,
with.
You could do kind of like a. Oh, I'm gonna take this from Transformers. Okay. You know how like their movies have. My name is Optimus Prime, and I am narrating this. Yeah. You could have it be the narration where it's like the colored square boxes. Yeah. Where he is telling us he crashed into Earth, this and that, and this is my story. And then you just start it where, all right, we know he crashed down. We don't have much information about that because the true part of the story is going to start with him already being a human, and through the story, that information then comes out of the woodwork of how he, because then you don't have to be like, well, how did he transition into human life? You can just be like, he did. And as you
that's
learn
what I was
going to
do is I was going to like, I was going to go with present. He's already kind of like living a human life.
Like an office job. Right?
I was actually going to make him a construction worker. That way he can lay low.
Like a blue collar.
That way he can lay low. Because he doesn't have like the knowledge to do the office work type thing. The easiest way for him to do anything, that's why I was going to base it in Chicago, just works in.
Could be easy for him too, because like he can control his strength, but like the lifting isn't hard for him.
Yeah, like, and even like, so I have to find like some sort of mentors thing. He goes to lift something real heavy. He's like, no. People can't do that. Less. So he like lifts like, let's say he.
Kind of like a buddy.
Yeah. A buddy that like helps him. And he goes like, he lifts like a full Chicago dumpster over his head, no problem. He goes, no, people can't do that. Puts it down, lifts the side of it. Like lifts it like all the way up to his head. No. Still no.
He lifts like half of it. All right, we're getting
there, and
because there are actual people that can do that.
Yeah, we'll make it like funny in that sense, but it's like then that will be like sort of the humor where it goes in. But like we'll do normal, and then we'll go like flashbacking to like why, like how he got to being there. But the reason he goes into construction, he's like, well, do you have any, like, he goes for an interview. Do you have any experience with this? No. Well, why should we hire you? He just like takes the desk, lifts it like halfway up like that. Okay.
All right, you're hired.
You're hired. We got.
Or just he lifts the desk to the next panel. You're hired.
Yeah. Just like this. Just goes.
And just lifts the
It's
whole
like
thing.
one of those old heavy wooden desks because the guy put a dumpster dove it.
Money into it.
He's like, I got this out of the dumpster like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of this desk. He just like, it's one of those old heavy desks. And he's like, yeah, it took like 4 to 6 guys to get this in here. He just goes.
Yeah, he just lifts it up. And it's like, oh, okay.
And that'd be like the easiest way. Like, so that's why I was going to make him a construction worker in Chicago.
Now,
it's easy, like, for him to lay low too then.
Question for you.
Yes.
The baddies in this.
Yes.
Is it going to be the main baddies in this? Is it going to be his past coming to find him? Like Asgardian baddies are going to come find him?
I haven't gotten that far yet, but that's not
but
a bad...
I'm just, like,
I think I
brainstorming
might
of
do
just,
that,
like,
because what I was going to...
Will he have an archenemy that's on Earth, or will his archenemy be someone from his past that finds him
I think
on
I
Earth?
might do kind of both. Like, some people, like... Because at first it's going to be like I just want to lay low. I just want to live a normal life. I don't want to deal with... Like, I don't want to deal with having powers.
Because he's like, I don't even know where I came from.
I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't actually know who I am. Like, his friend will make him give him a name. It's like, there's
It'd be funny if they just went into, like, that panel is just them going into a random name generator online.
Or, like, it's one of those, can we call you Bill? No,
I don't like that. You can even make fun of, like, oh, I got it, Steve. I don't like Steve. How about Peter? Not really my style. Like, making
Tony?
fun of
No.
Bruce?
No.
How about Bruce? Too depressing. Like, you could go into that, like, Clark, too noble. Bruce, too depressing. Steve, too patriotic. Like, you can go into that. Like, Tony, too pretentious. Like, and they're just little, like, quips of, like, making fun of, referencing the other heroes' names that you're like, I'm obviously not going to choose those.
Yeah, exactly. So
Peter, too childish.
yeah, and that's what I'm gonna think about doing with him. Is we'll start with like he's already got that job, and then we'll like do little flashbacks here and there, and then we'll have like one series where it's just like straight up. This is how this all happened. Like eventually, maybe we'll do like the first one of him living his job, him like dealing with like I've got powers. But I want to lay low, but I want, like, let's say, like, a mugging happened, right? Like, down the block from him.
He wants to help.
But he doesn't want to get involved.
Attention to himself.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, and then, like, last minute, he decides the mugger's running towards him, just grabs him, slams him against the wall, takes the purse and whips it back to the lady, and just...
I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
We'll do this really quick. This popped into my head. So about your character, your main character, whatever his name is, I'm going to ask you questions. You answer them for me. So about this character, what does this character want?
Overall, to figure out who he is.
Okay. So the main MO is he wants to figure out who he is.
He eventually wants to try and figure out who he is.
And how he got to Earth. So like who he is and why.
He doesn't even know he's an alien right now.
Yeah.
Technically.
Okay. He wants to know who he is, basically.
Who he is and why he has powers.
What does this character need?
I guess answers.
So like...
Answers and to figure out what he needs to do then and there. Because the other part of it to me is he wants to just live his normal life right now.
Yeah.
Does not want to get involved. Those are the two things that... His MOs.
Yeah. So, and like how this was explained when I was looking up, like sometimes wants and needs overlap, but sometimes what the character wants is different than what they need.
Yeah.
Or in this case, it might be similar because what he wants is what he needs. He needs to figure out who the hell he is.
Yeah.
What about what is opposing them? Like for me, it was all the self-doubt and what obstacle is going to stand in his way. I
guess the obstacle would actually be wanting to lay low. because that's going to stop him from actually figuring out who the hell he is anyways.
So just the normal, not known to him, but the normal human life is going to stand in his way. It's going to make it hard for him to figure out answers.
Yeah, because if he's not pushing out to his full potential, he's not going to figure out who he is.
What is this person afraid of?
I guess it's a kind of double-edged sword. He's afraid of who the answers of who he's going to be.
So the answers that he finds that he's not going to like those answers. What if another thing that is opposing him is, this isn't a main worry or a main obstacle, but a little bit of like a brief doubt of the answers that he seeks. Does he really want to know?
Yeah.
Like kind of like a situation of like, hey, do I want to know the answers to these questions I am asking, or do I just want to live this life and be happy?
Yeah.
Like, that could also be something that's in there of like, do I really want to know these answers? And then you kind of explain this, the day-to-day life. He's blue-collar construction worker, probably, I'm assuming lives by himself, like in an apartment.
I was probably gonna make it like a 1-bedroom or even like a studio apartment. Yeah. He's spending as little money as possible. Doesn't realize how the currency works 100%. So he's probably got like just cash stacked away. Yeah.
Because he just doesn't.
He only pays for food, his apartment, and
he's only eating McDonald's because it's cheap. He's going to Taco Bell all the time because it's cheap.
I was gonna say maybe McDonald's, like there's one on there. Or he stopped, like he learns,
or just the McDonald's, because copyright, the McDonald's
or
equivalent.
Well, his friend, like maybe he'll go to like the closest like convenience store and buy food from there and just eat from that, because his friend's gonna teach him like those things.
Because that's the main outline that because I still have to do that for Valkyrie and the love interest when I eventually get to the love interest, is basically that kind of outline. Because I did that Friday night and it helped me a lot with the Crusader. That's why I threw it out for you. The only thing that would need to be, I think, kind of thought about more is that because like you said, you're not deep in thought like I am. Like I just
kind of started. So
mine has been a year long, like years of thinking and brainstorming and like throwing ideas in my head that never really go anywhere. But then they kind of stick, and it's just like, I needed to do this. But for you, that's the thing, I think, the want and need. Are they going to be different? Is it okay if they are the exact same? Is he going to have a love interest? Is it going to be kind of like a Clark and Lois situation?
Maybe down the line, but I'm not worried about.
You're not introducing that right away.
No, that's going to be like way down the line, if I even do that.
The only relationship is him and his buddy.
That's what it's going to be for now, because like I said, someone's got to teach him to be human in a sense. That's what I realized like last night, because it's like he's going to drop down. He's going to be like in Asgardian clothing,
or it could be they burned off and he's naked.
Maybe, or he's just got.
Wasn't Thor naked when he crashed?
No, he had clothing on.
Okay,
so or like even just like rags of clothing. So someone's going to think he's homeless.
That'd be funny. They think he's homeless. That's how he meets him. The guy brings him in. Hey, I'll give you a warm meal, somewhere to stay for right now.
Yeah.
And then helps him get on his feet. The friend thinks he's helping him get on his feet.
Yeah.
But then the friend learns that, oh, no, you're not from here. And he goes, I don't know where I'm from.
Yeah, he's like, so what's your name? I don't know. Where are you from? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this isn't good.
Like, and that, because when you pitch this idea to me.
Yeah.
To me, it's interesting because it's not like, to me, it doesn't even sound like a superhero comic.
No, I'm going sort of I almost don't want to say anti-hero necessarily, but it's like leaning towards the anti-hero realm. Because like one day I was going to have it so like the purse snatch scene, maybe it's in front of his buddy. They're like walking home, and down the street, it's like, because this guy's already kind of strong. He doesn't realize the full potential. But like he's like, dude, we get like they're walking down the street. He's like, dude, we gotta do something. It's like, I don't want to get involved. I don't know what's going on right now. He's like, dude, we gotta do something. So like the purse snatcher starts running towards him, and like he's still mulling it over. Like last second, grabs him, slams the robber against the wall, takes the purse, whips it back at the lady, and it's like, let's get the fuck out of here. And they both dash out of there. But like when the cops show up and everything, this is a brick wall is like dented in. The guy's
with
back
the guy's body.
Well,
dented
he just
into it.
smashed the guy's body into the wall. But
Is the guy dead?
no.
What if the cop, and this is a throwaway to Boondock Saints, so you can use it if you want. What if the cops show up and you just go, is he dead? Like, because they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they're just assuming, like, with all the, like, crap, it's like, is he dead? Like,
I was going to say, this guy's almost dead. Like,
Yeah.
he's got, because if he takes him from here and slams him into a brick
he's
wall,
breaking ribs.
he's going
and
to break a
stuff.
few ribs and possibly crack it.
Collarbone and vertebrae and stuff.
Yeah, he's got, like, he's messed up this guy. And they're like, who the fuck did this? It's going to be kind of that scenario, which is what part of the reason he wants to lay low.
Question.
Yes.
And I thought about this as you were saying, you were talking, it popped into my head. What if, and you don't even have to use this, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay.
What if the answer he finds out is, because, like you said, it's not necessarily he was on the good side. He wasn't on, like, Odin Thor side of things.
Yeah.
What if he finds out he was a part of, not like high up, but even just like a foot soldier or somebody of that level for the bad guys? And it then creates a kind of like different, like a morality kind of conflict of, so, okay, I found out the answer to, and then it could be kind of a overcoming in how people change as time goes on. Because it's like, all right, I found out now I used to be a bad guy? That can't be right. Like, I would never hurt anybody.
Think about it.
And then, like, but he thinks that because as he's been on Earth, all he's been engaged with is his buddy who has shown him kindness. At this time, when he finds that answer, maybe a love interest that has shown him kindness. Like, the people of Earth that he sees good in. And now he's got to come to the realization of, like, how he has changed and how he's going to do that. How he maybe used to be a bad Asgardian. Maybe it was even just he was an asshole. He was a thug in Asgard, where he was a bad guy there, but now he's a good guy.
I don't know if I want to go bad guy route. The closest I would go into it is, like, he was a foot soldier for bad people, and then, like...
Yeah. I'm saying
kind
even,
of like...
even like less than that. If you just want to make him a normal simpleton.
Yeah.
Of he's just a guy in Asgard, like a civilian in Asgard, that ideally was not the best Asgardian. Where it was like, kind of like the equivalent for us on Earth would be a thug. Like, mugged some people, like... lived really, like, low, was like a poor...
I don't know if I want to go that
kind
route.
of a guy. Like, I'm just throwing out ideas for what could happen, because you don't have to make him like, yes, he was an ideal citizen, and he was this
I wasn't
and
even going to do that, though.
It
wasn't even, like, ideal citizen. It's like, he just... Back when he was in Asgard or whatever, he just did what he had to do, went home, and that's it. Or maybe he was like the other thing I would take.
So a simpleton.
Simpleton. Or just take from your thing. And maybe he was like a foot soldier for like someone who was really bad. And then realize this is some shady, like, and to put it in terms I can't for lack of better words.
Yeah.
This is some shady shit. I'm out.
Yeah.
Just like as soon and like go like some thing happens where just shot down the earth almost, slams into something. That's when the head trauma happened and like can't remember any of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one thing that popped in to my head as you were talking of like, oh, that could be kind of interesting, because that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're throwing ideas together. We're trying to get kind of this, we're mixing this pot right now. We're mixing it up. Anything else you want to mention with yours?
Not right now. I don't have
Johnny's
much more.
Johnny's like, Ricky, I don't have enough. But yeah, this is, guess how long we've been going on this one, kind of riffing on this podcast.
Hour and a half.
Close. Yeah, it's going to be close. I don't know exactly when, like how much BS podcast we have at the front, but right now, unedited, we're at 137.
Wow.
40. So, yeah, this one's going to be a long one. I don't know if on YouTube, if I'm going to split this into like part 1, part 2, I probably won't. This probably might just be a full podcast just because of the discussion that we had in it. But this was something new. Like, we did not have this planned. coming into today.
This was
brand new. Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's
That was
a nice
interesting.
change of pace.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice change of pace, and that's not the selfish part of me talking, because there's a little selfish part of me that's like I got to throw ideas off of somebody, because otherwise I'm just sitting there in my head, and I can't wait to work on this when I get home today as well, because I can't wait to kind of take these ideas and start putting them together. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section if you have not already. Thank you guys for kind of sitting with us, kind of shooting the shit, kind of talking about some comic books and some ideas going on. We are creative people as well. It's not just machines here for MVP, but a little housekeeping here at the end. Make sure to check us out on patreon.com. Thank you to Soapy Muffin, our newest patron at the $5 tier. You can also support the channel by going on to the website to get a t-shirt, MoswellPodcast.com, or the shirt store link down below in the description. And please also go over to Apple Podcast and iTunes and give the Rick and Johnny Podcast a 5-star rating. I want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.